The reigning NBA champion Golden State Warriors show no signs of slowing down. Right now they have their main core locked up for at least this upcoming season. Curry's on contract till 2026, a season where he's going to make nearly $60 million. Klay's on contract for the next 2 seasons, where he's going to make over $40 million a year. Andrew Wiggins on the final year of his deal. Draymond's on the last year of his deal unless he accepts a $27 million player option next offseason. They re-signed Kevon Looney to a new deal, keeping him around for the next 3 seasons at around $9 million a year. They've got James Wiseman for 2 more years before he's a restricted free agent. Moody and Kuminga for the next 3 years before they're restricted free agents, and they've got Jordan Poole on the last year of his rookie contract, and he'll become a restricted free agent next offseason. This is really one of the most interesting scenarios in the league, and there really isn't an outcome that's too bad for the Warriors, but there's a very realistic chance they look a lot different very soon. Now, if it wasn't extremely clear, the Warriors are paying a ton of money for this group, like the most in league history. This past season, due to the luxury tax, they had to pay a staggering $346 million, a figure that only grew going into this season. Now, I know winning pays in this league, but there's no question they can't withstand this for too much longer, which makes things super interesting when you consider the offseason they're going to be looking at a year from now. Klay Thompson will be going into the last year of his deal looking for an extension. Draymond will most likely decline his player option and is reportedly looking for a max extension. Jordan Poole is looking like one of the most promising players from the 2019 class, and I can almost guarantee you will have max offers across the league, which the Warriors will only have the option to match. Andrew Wiggins is going to need a new deal, and with how well-rounded his game has become, a big contract is heading his way, whether that's from the Warriors or not. Now, it's one thing to be facing a scenario like this, but it gets even scarier for the Warriors front office, seeing that Wiseman will be a free agent a year later, and both Moody and Kuminga the next. Just keeping some of these players, the Warriors are going to go well over $200 million in salary, and after luxury tax, well over $400 million, potentially as high as $500 million. I think what we can expect this team to look like really comes down to a couple key decisions, the first being Draymond Green. Draymond has been a cornerstone of this Warriors dynasty, being a 4-time all-defensive first-team member and effectively being this team's point guard at times, facilitating Curry and Klay's off-ball dominance. There's no question the Warriors want to keep him around, but a max contract is just hard to justify. He's 32 years old. He'll be 33 at the time of the new deal. We're already starting to see a significant decline in his ability as a scorer. While the defense is still there, at a 6'6" power forward frame, I can't help but think a serious decline could be on the horizon in that department. There's no question that going into next season, he will not be worth a max contract. The only way I really see it happening is that the Warriors give him a thank you contract. But given their other financial decisions that we've talked about, that's an expensive thank you. I think the best case scenario for the Warriors is they just let him make the decision. Either accept his player option or decline it and see what's out there and face the harsh reality. On the open market, I really think he would struggle, as I think most teams that would have interest in his service would already be contenders in the league, most of which don't have any cap space. With all that said, I have a gut feeling Draymond won't be wearing a non-Golden State jersey anytime soon, but I think a max contract would really bite them. I think this season, they should prioritize a bigger role for Kuminga. He flashed a lot of talent, but he's far from replacing what Draymond has brought to this team. If we can see a big jump out of him this season, I think that could play a massive role in how all this goes down. Another big decision is Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole fascinates me. People that aren't Warriors fans really don't give him the credit he deserves. This past season, in just his 3rd season in the league, on a crowded roster, a team that won the NBA championship has Curry, Klay, Wiggins. He averaged 19 points and 4 assists, shooting 45% from the field and 36% from 3. That doesn't even tell the full story. When his role increased in the middle of the year due to injuries, he went on a 15-game stretch where he averaged 27, 5, and 4, shooting 48% from the field and 45% from 3 on ridiculous volume. There's been this narrative recently that the Warriors have made a lot of players look a lot better than they actually are, and I think there's some validity to that. But I don't think that's the case with Poole. If anything, this crowded roster might just be hiding how good he really is. He isn't a player that's just working with easy off-ball looks. He is this team's go-to shot creator when Curry's off the court. That was evident in that 15-game stretch we mentioned. In a 2019 redraft, I have him going 3rd overall. Some people laugh at that. Some people think that's crazy. But if you put him on 90% of the teams in this league, I think he's a 25-point-a-game scorer with ease. I think most of the league already knows this, which is why he's going to have no problem getting to a max offer in restricted free agency. Now, there's a chance we don't even see him get there if the Warriors give him an extension before the deadline, but that's quickly approaching as it's on October 17th. Without the extension before the deadline, I think it's very likely Poole won't be a Warrior past this season. The Warriors are going to face a tough decision to match his best market offer while dealing with all these other decisions across their roster. With this being a money issue more than anything, it's tough to see a sign and trade being possible, meaning Poole will most likely walk for nothing. Now, the last big decision is Andrew Wiggins. I think it's safe to say, assuming we see a similar level of production, Andrew Wiggins is extremely important to this team. Having a two-way wing the level of Wiggins is hard to find. This season, he averaged 17 points, shooting 47% from the field and 39% from three, while bringing this team a ton defensively. Being an unrestricted free agent, I'm really curious to see what the interest would be across the league. It's funny that just a couple years ago, on his current contract, he was actually considered one of the worst contracts in the league. After showing a ton of promise early on in his career, he really struggled as a top option in Minnesota. As we talked about, the Warriors have a great track record of making players look a lot better than they might actually be. I'm curious to see if that has an effect on the offers we see across the league, but as of right now, it looks like he's one of their top priorities, meaning that Poole is likely the odd man out. Now, I'm not sure that's the right decision, but it's looking the most realistic. It's definitely going to be interesting to follow, as Jordan Poole could end up one of the biggest names on the market next offseason, and there's some really interesting teams that project to have money to offer, such as the Grizzlies, Pacers, and my favorite, teaming up with LaMelo and the Charlotte Hornets. But getting back to the Warriors, personally, I actually don't think it's in their best interest to try too hard to keep these veterans around, obviously excluding the Splash Brothers, and that simply comes down to their young talent. The Warriors have Curry and Klay. When healthy, that alone makes them contenders, but they're not getting any younger. Curry is 34 and Klay is 32, while yes, they're still playing at the top of the game. Players like LeBron and Chris Paul have really clouded our memory on just how rare it is to see players remain at the top of the game well into their mid-30s. I truly think the Warriors need to prioritize this next generation. Now, by no means am I saying they give up on the present, but I am saying they need to prioritize keeping guys like Poole around, even if that's at the expense of a player like Draymond, and they need to be prepared for this next group of guys like Kuminga and Wiseman. Will they do that? As his payroll increases, it's looking less and less likely. There's a very real scenario that 3 years from now, the Warriors have a core of a 37-year-old Curry, 35-year-old Klay, 35-year-old Draymond, and a 30-year-old Wiggins. Sure, there's a chance there's still similar players we know today, but I wouldn't be too confident. It really felt like the Warriors were doing everything right the past couple seasons after being beaten up with injury, landing top picks in the draft, trading for top picks in the draft. But it's looking like that could all go to waste. The Warriors have become the most valuable franchise in the league. They built one heck of a group of bandwagons. I had never met a Warriors fan before 2014. Now, they're everywhere. They have an opportunity to continue this dynasty for a very long time, but I don't think that's going to be on the back of the names we've come to know. I'll leave you guys with this stat to think about when it comes to the Warriors' future. This past season, there were 25 players that played at the age of 35 or older. Only one of those players, that being LeBron James, averaged more than 15 points a game. I want to know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. Do the Warriors continue to go all in, even if that's at the expense of this young core they've put so much effort into over the last couple of seasons? With all that being said, hope you guys have a great day. If you like the content, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and peace.